Alright. Fuck it, we'll do it live! Fuck it! We'll do it live! So that's what we're doing. Now they're all a bunch of quarantine chimps. That's it. Let's see how this is working. A lot has changed. A lot has changed. Since we last got up in here. Bunch of You see this? Make a comment. Let me know if you're in this and you're watching. That would be very helpful. Doing a live stream. Ask any questions that you guys have. Comments. Beautiful. Alright, I've changed the thumbnail successfully. Very good. Alright. We're live. Alright. Just listen to a podcast. Rogan podcast. There's so much going on in the world right now that everything from the Cold War with China to the pandemic, it's strange, and these explosions that happened. What happened in that oil explosion that happened? I need to figure out what happened. What's up, Jake West? What am I listening to right now? I'll pull up my Spotify and I'll tell you. Beyonce's new album. Well, new album. It's the Lion King soundtrack deluxe album that I've been listening to. Let me show you right here. So you can see right there, I was listening to some Ariana Grande. Man, 7 Rings, I don't care what you say about Ariana Grande. That 7 Rings song and that album is really good. Really great album. Yeah, so I've been listening to, and you guys want to hear what I'm listening to, all you got to look up is my my name, Alexander Emanuel, on Spotify. So I've been listening to The Lion King, the Gift, the deluxe edition, and Beyonce, I think she did a pretty good job on this album, to be honest. I'm just going to share my live stream to my social media. Just give me a second. But yeah, the Beyonce album, I think it just shows how diverse and multifaceted Beyonce is, you know. And watching the documentary she put out on Disney Plus, like, beautifully made, like, really good. Like, cinematography is great, the symbology is deep, like a lot of things that I didn't see that just whoop, over my head, you know, because that's something that you need to analyze. And so that's a documentary and album I really enjoyed, and it was great to see Jay-Z in that, looking fly as hell. Rody Doty, shout out to Rody Doty, always hopping in these live streams when I be doing them. Rody Doty, we're just talking some music right now, showing what I've been listening to. Shout out to, yeah, see, here's the thing, if I play just here, this is bitches, that's all I can play without getting copyright. That's all I can play, a couple seconds, which is just, let me give you money and partner with Spotify, and why don't we work together? Anyway, Drake's new tracks, pretty solid. Again, showing versatility with how these artists like Beyonce and Drake can adjust and adapt and constantly show something fresh and new, which is dope, which is awesome. I got a to listen playlist, and Anderson .Paak just released a new Lockdown remix. I'm gonna listen to that. Amine just released a new album. Gotta listen to that. I've been listening to Beyonce, and I put them in my playlist. Alina Perez made a pretty album that I want to listen to. She's a great artist. I'm really enjoying Natalia. I can't say her last name. Natalia Lafourcade. She is, what is she, Spanish, I believe. She is a Grammy Award-winning Mexican singer-songwriter who just makes these gorgeous music. I found out about her from The Needle Drop, Anthony Fantano. That's all I can play. And I know one word in Spanish, por qué. Por qué is why. You know, when I was living in America, I had a lot of Spanish people down in Tucson, Arizona. And so yeah, I've been listening to and enjoying Natalia's music. Encanto por Mexico, Volume 1 is great, and I've been enjoying hers, and I highly recommend that. You know, it's not all about hip-hop and rap, you know. I feel like my music taste has never been more diversified than it is now. So I'm really enjoying different genres like Natalia's music. Jhené Aiko's new album, Shalombo, I need to listen to. And then I've been going through a bit of Kanye recently. You know, he's been topically on the radar recently with what's going on with him, which I don't really know, and I don't really care to pay too much attention to, you know, him trying to be the president or run for president. I really think Dwayne Johnson should run for president, you know. I'm not American. I have no stake in the game. But we know America, what America does, the rest of the world usually follows. They're a leader. You guys are leading, right? How we perceive you from afar is something that we learn off, something that we get inspired by. And so I've been listening to Kanye and just going through a bit of his what was that? I glitched. Discography, and enjoying some of his music. Dark Lane demo tapes. I think Drake did a good album right there. I don't even say good. I'm being generous. Not good. It was okay. Oh, Jake, I got you into... Sorry, I'll get you ready, dirty in a second. I got you into 3K, Sylvan LaCue, Greg Newman. Man, how great are those artists? In fact, Greg was supposed to come to Australia and Melbourne, where I was communicating with him about corresponding and trying to find him some venues. And that's all off the table now, obviously. But yeah, amazing artists, like more unknown artists, if anybody's listening and wants to get a taste of some different artists that are more really talented but aren't as known, doing some prolific, unique things, definitely recommend them. But I have been keeping up with... Sylvan's been releasing some tracks. Let's see if I've missed anything. So he hasn't released an album since Apologies in Advance, which is probably one of our favorite albums of 2018, me and Alexander Mann for Jungle Beats. But he's been pretty quiet. He's been doing some features here and there, but you know, the guy's been quiet. I should try and get him on the podcast. I want to try and do some live podcasts, not live, some online, I'll say, Zoom podcasts, where I'm talking from different international guests. 3K, I have been keeping up with as well. Their recent single.
Oh, wait, yeah. Rest in peace, Heath Ledge.
That's all I can play. Little taste of 3K. And it is a Melbourne-based group that I'd highly recommend for you guys. And then Greg Newman Absolutely. I'd be every time. Come on, Greg. Shit. I could probably play it, and then I might get a copyright, and then I could talk to him, and he'd probably get to his management and fix it up. But I don't even want to risk it. But god damn it, Greg Newman makes some hard-hitting, powerful music. Come on.
Moving with $2 in my pocket, moving a pace, you looking exhausted.
I wish I could do these live, react live, and be able to not get hit with copyright. Like make some type of deal where you accept 50% of the monetization goes towards the artist. Like, that's great. The artist wins. Oh, and then YouTube gets a cut, and then the creator gets a cut, and then we can freely react and review to music, as a reviewer, not as like it's its own category. Like, you have to be a certified reviewer, like a Needle Drop, like a Jungle Beats, right? Like that. I think that should exist. That should be a platform available. And once Spotify becomes their own platform and becomes a video streaming platform, you bet I'm going to be there immediately, as soon as I can. And I'm going to be putting my stuff on there too. Because if they can enable us to play and listen and review music on there, that changes the game. In fact, I was looking at buying Spotify stock. Because, let's see where they're at now. Spotify stock. Because once I heard about the Rogan deal. Oh shit. Oh, I definitely should have done that already. They're already what I'm looking at. Last time I saw them, they were like 180, 190. God fucking damn it. I should have bought it. Look at that. And once they actually start, here's the thing. It's absolutely going to go up. Once they actually launch Rogan's podcast on Spotify and they announce the video streaming, boop, that's going to go up. So I need to make a note of that. I definitely need to, even if it's just like you've got to make investments, right? Like, people are getting all this government money, right? Or if you're just saving money in general, it's like, make investments, right? So I need to look at, even if it's a couple, Spotify stocks. Game changer. Get a diary. Diary holds you accountable, right? My day-to-day has never been more productive with my whiteboard and my diary, because day-to-day I come in the morning, like boom, 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 I gotta do this. I cross things off when I finish it, and now it's a sense of achievement and accomplishment. It's very like a physical feeling, like boom, I've done this task. That's it. So I'd really recommend, for productivity, if you're struggling with productivity, get a diary. And the night before, the day before, make a list of things you need to do. I think a lot of people are stuck. They're stuck in the minutiae of their life, and they, especially with being locked indoors and restricted, like we are in Melbourne. It's when you don't have a plan and a structure, you're at the whims of life, right? You're like the wind. You're like leaves in the wind, just being blown back and forth. And so this helps create some order and freedom in your life, where you can, I have this to do, like I have in my diary, like I'm going to do these podcasts every Sunday morning, whether it's with a guest or whether it's live. This is something that's scheduled now, because it's been about a month since I've released a podcast, which is way too fucking long. I want to do these every week, minimum once a week. So getting back on that train, because I've been very preoccupied. So diaries really help me stay on top of my shit. So I'd recommend it. I used to love pop when I was younger, but over the years the sound has become very corny. My all-time favorite artist has got to be MJ. Yeah, Michael Jackson. Man, there's once in a lifetime type of artists. Hims, the Kanyes, the Jay-Z's. Well, I guess they happen a couple times in a lifetime, but they're just the rare diamonds in the rough. I think the sound becoming corny is just a product of just the evolution of it. Some people might call it like de-evolution, or like it's not evolving, it's like going backwards. But the things change. Things will always change and manipulate over the years, and it's up to us to go with that and adapt with it, or just push it aside and move on to something else. And so I think you definitely see that with guys like The Weeknd. It's like very clearly how they've changed so much in just 10 years, right? With the different infusions of pop and electronic, R&B infusion that has changed. Oh, speaking of The Weeknd, apparently there's a room going around that Abel is going to drop again next year. Next year? Anybody could say someone's going to drop next year. Like, that's likely. Next year, it's 2021, right? Yeah, artists release albums, projects about every 2-3 years. That's typical. Actually, Kendrick hasn't in a while, so I'd be really interested to see what Kendrick's going to come out with, because he's a guy who's probably going to have a very strong voice on a lot of this. Now we're in space right now. I had to change up the visuals. I just got this new ultra wide monitor, and it is unreal. Like, beautiful and wide. Like, what you guys are seeing is like one monitor's worth of visuals. Like, there's all this other stuff on the side that I can look at, and it's a trip. But improves productivity. It's not just for a dick swing contest, right? Like, let's look at things that are going to improve our productivity, and so that's an investment. I think YouTube will come round to that idea, especially with Patreon being so popular. I'm not sure what Twitch's policies are, but I feel like you can play music. Oh, really? Maybe they're true there on Twitch. Like, that's something I want to be able to do this also on Twitch, like multi-live stream. And even live on Facebook as well, but I don't think streamable OBS supports that as of yet. But look, YouTube will have to come around to the idea, or they will lose market share, right? So people, like, look at what's happening with really interesting. I don't know if any updates on what Trump's going to do with TikTok. I never trusted TikTok. Never trusted him to start with. TikTok being owned by the Chinese government. I don't trust the Chinese government. In fact, I'm not even comfortable entirely saying I don't trust the Chinese government, right? Because China's a very powerful country, and to deny that is probably just ignorant, right? And so I'll acknowledge their power to, like, there's suspicions that China was responsible for Australia's largest cyber attacks that happened just about a month ago, right? All these key infrastructure organizations that were infiltrated, certain data and information and privacy was infiltrated. It didn't specifically state what information, I think, or what companies, just what sectors were affected. And there are suspicions on why that is, because Australia led and was leading the inquiry into the origins of the coronavirus coming out of Wuhan, and we led that from a public perspective, and our Prime Minister got on conferences and talked about leading and getting countries together to do an inquiry into China. Of course, China's not going to be happy with that. So that doesn't surprise me in the slightest that China could have organized that. But they do see this from a foreign entity that, I believe, if I recall correctly, a foreign entity has tried to breach the security of this country, and that's. You got holes in the system. What am I looking at? Trump. Right. Mr. Trump said he was going to ban TikTok.
Seeing all of it. Therefore, I'm taking executive action. We've had it. And we're going to save American jobs and provide relief to the third action.
Student loan. He's doing all these different executive orders. Second executive order protects Americans from eviction. First executive provides payroll tax holiday to Americans earning less than $100,000 a year. Well, I guess that's positive. That sounds positive. Without looking into the details, that sounds positive. But it's going to be real interesting to see how these next couple months go. Really interesting to see how the world will adapt and change to the election. Absolutely. But yeah, him banning TikTok, well, trying to, or talking about it's not banned yet. We'll see. It's very interesting because it just blew up. It's very popular now. It's like people now have like money and resources and influence tied up in a platform, and it just goes to show like I'm vulnerable in a sense where I have tens of thousands of people on YouTube, right? Do all of them watch? Hell no, definitely not. In fact, it's stupid because you can even look at a guy like Rogan he's upper echelon. Like he does the same thing every time. He's like, this guy's an outlier of outliers, okay? About 10 million, nearly 10 million subscribers. The average podcast is going to get like 1 to 2 million. That's 10 to 20% of his viewership. What? 10 to 20% of his viewership are clicking on the video? And that's not even entirely true because we know that a portion of there's like a portion of subscribers who click on watching videos, and there's a portion of non-subscribed. And he probably has a high proportion of non-subscribed who just watch for just random interesting guests like the Elon Musks or the I was listening to Mike Baker, who's a CIA guy. So there's something broken in the system. Like there's something, maybe something someone would call broken, but there's something ineffective with the system where I should be able to, if I put a video out, you guys should all know it's available, right? But that's why you got to click now. I got to tell you to click the notifications. I never say that because I'm whatever, right? If you know what to do, people know what to do, right? I'm not trying to be fucking begging for clicks and likes and shit like that. Like, I'm going to do this, and if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't, right? Whatever. So, I think it's very interesting that you can have tens of thousands of people who want to see your content or seemingly want to absorb and engage with you, and such a small proportion actually are able to see like we're talking now, Rogan's 10 to 20%, but the majority are looking at like 0.5% to 2% of their actual subscribers are watching. Like, I've done the math many times on different channels, my own channel. I'm like, what the hell's up with that? You know, and I know it's like there's never been so much volume. There's never been so much volume of content available. So people are drowned. They're not always going to click on things. But to me, it's like there should be some type of system where if you don't engage with someone's channel or content, it's done. Like you should be automatically unsubscribed, or you should be able to enable a feature like that. I'd enable that. I'm not interested in people who aren't interested in me. Like, I want a true representation of what's going on, you know. So that's my 2 cents. But I got a lot of 2 cents on everything. Twitch would never Jake, I agree with you. Twitch would never do it though, considering how stingy they are about certain things. I don't know. Pop is coming back. I think that Ariana album's great. Absolutely. I've never liked The Weeknd, but After Hours is great. Hyperpop. I don't know what hyperpop is. Charlie XCX. I didn't know she was classified as hyperpop. That's a different genre I never heard of. I just saw this. I clicked on my Twitter to look up Trump, and then you know they get you with the what's happening on the sides, and so Patrick Beverly.
This was after the Lillard miss. Morris and Beverly reacting.
Why is Patrick Beverly wearing a mask down his chin?
Patrick Beverly's not playing, but he's still enjoying himself.
Yeah, just don't get hurt over there, Pat. I mean, you know, you're out with an injury, and now you're falling off the, table there. Whatever.
Blazers a big double blow.
Fonzo, what's up, Fonzo?
122 to 117.
Good to see you, man. Hey, you want to edit all my videos? No, I want to do is hire up someone to get a bunch of clips where you get clips from my podcast, and I can put them up, and I don't have to watch them. I can get like a Jamie. I need a Jamie. but I ain't got that type of Jamie money to pay people, you know. So one day. That's a pretty crazy thing what the NBA are doing, being in Disney. I think it's so great that they found a way to make this work.
Portland up by 2 and a timeout with 4. Drives in.
With the NBA being able to play and no fans, but they can still do what they love and you know, pay for or make their money and do and just basically feed their families. And is that real? Is Damian Lillard the cover athlete for 2K21? Is he really balling like that now? I don't really watch the NBA anymore. I just don't have time. But I don't understand why Patrick Beverley would be wearing a mask when they're all quarantined and they're all get tested like every day. Like, I don't understand why. And then you go up and like, is now what, fashion? What's that for? No, I ain't heard the new Joji song. Or maybe I have. Let's have a look. Shout out to Joji, who still hasn't claimed copyright on our original Pink Season video, which is really appreciative, because Jungle Beats is tough because we get copyrighted now. Like, it just happens like every week. The new video, it's crazy.
And I've cried.
Otherwise, the video will get taken down, or copyrighted. So I'll put that later. Maybe if I listen to, I don't really care about making money. What if I just listen to the music? Will it take me down? I don't care about like making money off this video. A tier list of my favorite albums. I got playlists available publicly that people can see. If you look up Alexander Emanuel on Spotify, and then you can see all the podcasts up there too. That would probably be the best place to go see that, because I do have classic albums. That's probably the closest thing to that. But yeah, that's, I don't know. Maybe I test it. Let's test it. Should we just test it? See what happens. I'll play the song, and if I get taken down, whatever. If it's copyrighted, whatever. Or it might mute. So, I mean, when we did the Jay-Z album 444 Live, that got taken down. That got blocked. No, that's to my playlist then. I got a bunch of playlists. But yeah, the floating mattress. I want to thank you. Oh yeah, it wasn't. Oh, before I read that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. Joji's been consistent, man. He's been consistent, and he's a really solid artist, and he's transformed himself actually from a meme to like someone like a serious professional. The floating mattress. I want to thank you personally for creating a summary analysis of 12 Rules for Life. Without you, I wouldn't have learned so much. You didn't have to create it, but you did. I'm grateful for that. Thank you for that. You don't get enough support for the amount of work you do. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Those were labors of love, labors of learning and curiosity, and yeah, you're welcome, man. I'm glad it can be valuable to people. Those tend to resonate more deeply with people. Those summaries, because they can reach a pretty large amount of people because they're behind pretty popular names like Robert Greene and Jordan Peterson and Dale Carnegie. And I would love to do more. I want to do more. If I could design, like, I want to get to the point where I can just do that stuff like more consistently. I can pay like a really high level editor just to pay him thousands of dollars and to fix up all my videos. Like, that's best case, right? I would love that. And I was working with Fonzo, who was doing Jungle Beats videos. He did a great job there. But I'm talking somebody to like do elaborate video essays, editing to a really high level, or even just without all this fancy video editing. You know, I really want to do more of it. I want to do Sapiens. I'm reading a really great book called Atomic Habits, recommended by my coach. Atomic Habits by what the fuck's his name? How am I blanking? I know his name. James Clear. James Clear's Atomic Habits. If you want to take more control over your life and build really strong foundational habits and understand how this monkey chimp brain actually, to take advantage of it, to learn to become more efficient and effective throughout your days, to decrease stress and just get more things done in a more effective and efficient way, and just build a better life. It's a really great book that I'm really taking value from. And so that's another book and another example. But for now, it's like those videos, those things that you take value from, I'm putting that energy into like the podcast, having open, honest conversations. Like, I can't wait for like 10 years from now where I've done like 1,000 of them. Like, I love that. Like, I really want to, like, same with the Dear Alexander lessons, the memoirs that I write and that I do. Like, you know, it's exciting. It's exciting because like humble beginnings. It's like, where will we be? Where will we be? But it's just a thought you have every now and again. But I just focus on the moment here, and it's just like, I just got to focus on just being consistent and turning up. I think that's one thing I've learned from Rogan is just you got to turn up, just show up, be consistent. And I didn't do that over the last month, and that's something that I'm working on now every week. It's in the diary, it's in the calendar. So you can count on me for that, whether it's with a international guest, because you guys don't know, and I'll tell you, I can't see people in person right now to do those, because of the lockdown, and I'll tell you guys later, we're quarantined. There's a fucking curfew. I'll just tell you now, there's a fucking curfew, like where children have misbehaved. 8 p.m. until 5 a.m. Everything's closed. Gyms are closed. It's like we've one of the strictest restrictions in the world right now. We can only go out once out of our home per day, exercise max 1 hour if they find out, right? They're not going to know if you go twice, right? Unless you get recorded. What else? Everything's closed except grocery stores and pharmacies and basic those ones. Like, I can't work with my clients in person anymore, even on an outdoor basis. That's done. Barbers and hair salons used to be open. They're closed now. And here's the kicker. You want to get this? We cannot leave our neighborhood. So 5-kilometer radius we all have. We cannot leave it unless it's for an essential service, like a grocery store, work, if you're still working. Then you need like an exemption. Or like basic emergencies, like hospital or pharmacy, right? That's what we're dealing with. And so that's why I'm here. And yeah, we can get into that more if you guys want to hear it. Yeah, Fonzo, let me know. Okay, we'll talk, Fonzo. Message me. If you actually watch the podcast, that would be the main thing. You know, I think you will talk later. What would I tell my 19-year-old self, Gerald Draymond? I'll tell you what I told you. What I was telling you guys before you weren't in here. I think this. Get a diary, okay? You guys can see. Boom. You got the day. You got the times. And I put in exactly what needs to be done. I won't show you all the things that I'm doing. But write things. Make a okay. That's what I'll tell. One thing I tell my younger self. Have a diary. Have a whiteboard where you have weekly, monthly, and quarterly goals, right? Weekly, monthly, quarterly. Not even goals. Fuck the goals. Don't work with goals. Work with tasks. What do you need to get accomplished? Okay? Then, your diary is for your day-to-day. Have your day-to-day tasks and outcomes that you want to achieve for the day. Figure out when you wake up in the morning, before you start your first tasks, write a list of things you want and need to get done. And this can be leisure stuff too. It can be like everything, right? Get a Google Calendar, put all that shit in there, right? Things that recur. Everything goes in the Google Calendar, okay? From physical activity, to eating, to studying, to learning, to podcasting, to leisure time, to family time, everything goes in there. You pass it out and you create routine and order, right? So then you're not at the whims of life. You're not randomly doing shit. It's like you know what you need to do when you need to do it. One thing I would tell my younger self right there. And I was already pretty structured and orderly, conscientious person when I was a teenager, but now I've just leveled up. Now I'm just getting to like a really strong level of efficiency and productivity, you know, and that was a game changer this is a game changer for me because now I'm not as stressed. You know, sometimes you get stressed like, oh, I got this to do, shit builds up and it fills your cup up and it overfills, right? And then you either feel anxious or you feel stressed and it just gets too much. And so you just need to take a step back, and one way you can help buttress that and work and maneuver around that is by having a calendar, a diary, and a whiteboard where you can structure and schedule things accordingly to what you want to get done. And then at the end of the month, you do a monthly review. You review your month. You review each category of your life: health, wellness, finances, whether you're in university, whether your relationships, your hopes and excitements for the next month. You review all these categories that are actually important to you. I'm not trying. Got all these categories that are important to you, and you note them down, and do a monthly review because the months just go, and then by the time you know it, oh, guess what, motherfuckers? We're in August. What? It's 9 months into the year. The coronavirus just started last week, didn't it? No, that was January. That was January, man. The coronavirus started in Wuhan in January. What are you talking about? We're in August? We're 9 months in the year? Oh, and it just keeps going. Because the older you get, the quicker time goes because the relative proportion of 1 year of life gets smaller. There's a great diagram actually that I'll try and pull up to demonstrate that. But it's an interesting phenomena that I that I learnt, that I saw. And so don't let life just pass by. Like you don't want to be a you don't just want to be a participant in life. You want to engage fully with conscious, disciplined actions. And so that was some things I'd tell myself. What else? I know there's... You want to really know? You want to really know? Look at my Dear Alexander series. Like, look at... Oh, you can go to it's on my website. Let's have a look at what I'd be writing, because I'd be putting like what I'm learning like on the fly, like serious lessons of my life right here. I wasn't a very kind person, right? I'll tell you, speaking of kind, not kind to me, kind to the world. I didn't care about animals, I didn't care about the environment, I didn't care about nature, I didn't give a fuck. I littered, I didn't care. Right, I'll say that, right? We've all got flaws, and the younger we are, generally the more flaws we got, right? Because we're just husks, right? And so I would educate my younger self on why those things are important for your health, for your future children, and for your current generation, yourself, for your those three main things. So we attack it three ways. We attack it from selfish, my health; selfless, the world around me; and the children that come after me, like the environment, pollution, sustainably sourced food, which is actually usually high quality anyway. I would definitely educate myself there on, like, I just learned how to fucking recycle soft plastics properly, right? I didn't know this. I didn't know actually how important it was until I started learning about it in my university, because I'm doing nutrition science and human science subjects. It's a 2 degrees, double degree, and with the nutrition science we cover not just the chemistry and biology but of food and the science of food, but also sustainability practices and how food is produced, and how different food processing affects the environment. And so learning about how, well, these landfills, they just sit there, but as they break down, they produce what is it? Is it carbon emissions? They produce a greenhouse gas that contribute to, I don't even want to say global warming, right? But just more carbon emissions in the air, more pollution in the air. Because that's a whole nother topic that I don't even want to particularly get into right now. And just basic stuff like be respectful of your environment. Don't throw things on the ground. You're not a fucking immature child who's having a tantrum. I saw these kids riding their bicycles in the distance, and one of them just threw their plastic Gatorade bottle on the ground, and I fucking got mad. I'm like, these fucking kids just throwing shit on the ground, thinking the fucking world is their garbage tip. It's not. That goes somewhere. And I've seen it, because when I've seen it, especially when I was in Asia, I was in Hong Kong. It was terrible. We took a hike and to this secluded beach, and we're hours off the beaten path, man. You're not supposed to see garbage and litter, but you do. It's fucking everywhere, man. The water, it was all in the water. There was tons of it. And it was disgusting, and it was such a shame, because that doesn't just affect the water you drink, dumbass, and swim in, but it affects the biological life that lives there, right? And so I've never cared more about animals now. Like, I already know, like, I already know, like, I have a billion things that I can do, like, in this life. Like, I wish that I could live multiple lives, because I like, there's other things I want to do. Like, I won't get into specifically, but after repeatedly going to zoos and speaking with zookeepers and seeing demonstrations, and being educated on the well-being and of animals and why they're in the zoos and how they breed them and how they got here and how many animals have been extinct from the human hand, and what we're trying to do to repopulate. It's very interesting, and it's like, well, this life isn't all about us, is it? Like, it's like, I guess it's not. That's what I'm learning. It's like, this is a lot. What I tell my younger self, and part to my younger self, is that this life is a lot more than it is about you. And there are so many other cogs in this wheel that play such a vital role and that you can have a positive influence on. Because I think if there's one thing, it's like, once we get to death, let's make sure we left life better than how we found it. I believe in that, you know. There's a lot of things, my man. There's a lot of things, and I put them here. They're on the website. They're on the Medium, medium.com. That's another thing that I've definitely learned, that humans aren't inherently good or evil. You know, we all have the capacity for both. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm learning a lot in this life, and it's exciting. I love it. I love it. I love living. And part of me wishes I could Doctor Who this bitch and do it forever. A couple more comments. Let me read this. When you were younger, in your teen years, did you feel as if you had to distance yourself from your peers in order to develop your personal development, thoughts, leadership, and financial literacy? Yeah, to an extent. I did. Especially in the last 5 years. You know, after high school, because when you're in high school, you're surrounded by the similar people and circle for a while. But after high school, when you're in that early adulthood stage, you know, you are entering this new phase. Jake West, I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. All right. I got you. Just because some people are only listening because this will be on podcast. Jake West did a super chat for $5 US, US buckaroonies. Wanted me to check out 100 gex. I will do that. Done. So where was I? When you're in younger teens, you feel, yes. Okay, so when you're in that early adulthood stage, you transition out of high school and you distance yourself naturally because you're not seeing these people every day. But you're still in contact with them because they're your friends. But at the same time, it's like, all right, I'm going over here. I'm doing this. But you guys are over here. And you have these values and these beliefs, and I'll respect that, but that doesn't work for me. Those values and beliefs, they're not. And those habits, more important, that's the habits. What are the habits of your peer groups? What are your habits of your friends? You know, if you want to win, you got to surround yourself with winners. And so sometimes you have to be more of a recluse. And I have definitely been there and done that. Acted as that recluse, having to isolate myself and being like, some of my high school friends, they wouldn't hear from me for ages, months. Right? I'd be focused on what I was doing. And at the same time, like, I wasn't like the best socially either. You know, I wasn't the most I wasn't confident really. I wasn't great in groups. I wasn't extroverted. I was more like skewed towards introverted. I was more insecure. Now it's definitely different because I've developed myself and challenged myself, and you know, there's less of a burden on the judgments of what others think of you. Once you really learn about yourself and learn who you are and do the things that you want to do, you become unburdened and unshackled. Like, I'm doing what I want to do. Like, it doesn't matter about the judgments, right? I care about what you think, but I don't care about what you think. I care about what I think more than what you think. Because I need to care about what I think of myself more than you care about, I think, what you care about me, right? That's everybody. I have to respect myself. I have to make sure that I'm being true, not true to myself, fucking corny shit, that I'm being genuine and authentic to myself, and I'm not living a lie like so many people are. And so, yeah, you're the average of who you surround yourself with. And it's not just in person, it's the people you interact with on the internet too. So like this podcast, how many podcasts do you listen to? What are they talking about? Are they elevating you? Are they challenging you? Are they giving you thought-provoking ideas? I listen to Rogan so much because he has so many different guests, and they challenge my thinking. And it's also at the same time, he's pretty consistent with his thoughts, but it's also good because when you develop a lot of respect for somebody, you can catch yourself finding yourself agreeing with a lot of the things that they say. And maybe you don't always challenge them, or you don't always challenge the ideas that they're saying. And so I'm at a point now where I'm like, okay, I've got to be more critical of the people I admire, not just for the sake of it, well, actually, just for the sake of not always believing everything someone says just because they come from a position of authority, or a position of influence, or a position of respect and admiration. Now, it's the same for me. Some of you may admire me, some of you may respect me. Okay? Great. I had to earn that. And you're going to have people who do the same for you. And so, when you're in that position, you got to... What am I trying to say? You got to realize that you're not infallible, right? And that you're not infallible, and you may be tricking yourself into believing things that someone says just because they're in a position of authority. So I think everybody should do audits of their circles, and I've actually done this. Like, I wrote a list. Like, when I unfollowed everybody on social media, I wrote a list of the people I was following to see who are these people who I want to just keep tabs on. Like, sometimes, like, maybe every couple months I'll just keep a tab on somebody. I'll just be, oh, how are they doing? Right? I won't follow them specifically, but I'll just check in on them from like a social perspective if I haven't talked to them in person or something. So you distance yourself from the people that maybe aren't enlightening, uplifting, and empowering you in the ways that you want to be and get to. And then you become closer to the people who do have the things that you want, and are the people and are the person that you want to become, and are better, smarter, more intelligent. And so that is what I feel very fortunate to have with my podcast. I'm like, holy shit, I actually know a lot of great people. Like, I didn't realize how many great people I knew. Like, I'm going through lists and I'm like, oh shit. And like, you can actually talk to some pretty cool people just under the guise of a podcast. Like, oh, I have a podcast. Like, if it's for anything, guys, it's just so I can talk to really interesting people because I wouldn't be able to talk to them ordinarily. I wouldn't be able to ask a lot of these people, out for lunches and befriend them, because the guys of the podcast helps that. So for me, it's like, I want to, I get inspired by guys like Jay-Z when I see them, like, and Dwayne Johnson when I see him, Kevin Hart. I'm like, I need to elevate my circle, I need to upgrade my circle. I need to get around some people even better than me, more successful than me, stronger than me, bigger than me, and you do that through like people. You hire people to help you, like coaches, and you like, specifically it's like physically, health, wellness, nutrition, habit, types of those types of coaches, and that helps you get a window into it. And so it doesn't always have to be like friends that you make. It can be people you can hire. And so I feel very grateful to be in that position, and financial literacy is huge. It's something that I'm definitely trying to focus on a lot more now. Like, I'm not what I would tell my 19-year-old self, like one of you said earlier, like in educating myself in financial literacy. Like, Brandon Carter shared something on like financial literacy where he said, I have like 4 different bank accounts where I have this, and this. Like, I have it compartmentalized into different portions. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. It's unlikely, but he basically has all these different bank accounts for different purposes. It's like, okay, interesting you do that. Or he does like daily stock trading. Like, okay, interesting. I'm not gonna do that, but but how can I look at different types of investments? How can I invest money now and build systems and habits now with my services that I offer, and the products that I offer, and multiple streams of income. That's there you go. What would I tell younger self? Multiple streams of income. Absolutely need that. The reason I haven't felt burdened by money over the last couple years is because I have multiple streams. And I'm not a wealthy guy. I feel like my mind is wealthy, right? I feel like if my mind was worth money, I feel like my mind's 6 figures, right? Like that's how I feel, because I'm just like every day I'm just obsessed, right? And I like that about myself. It's a positive trait that I like about myself. But you chase that curiosity and obsession. But financial literacy, I would definitely try and educate myself more on, and still now, like it's probably a point of ignorance for me in a few ways. And so I'm doing my research. Once I heard that podcast with Peter Schiff, who's an economist. He owns like a finance company, and I'm looking into that. He did it with Rogan. Really recommend it. Just opened my eyes to like how screwed our economies are from all these loans and debts and in the inflation that's going to happen as a result of it, and like where is all this money coming from? And the Fed is just I'm just repeating things I've heard, but like the Federal Reserve is just pumping more money, and it's like there is going to be massive consequence to this. And this is a guy, Peter Schiff, who predicted the 2008 financial crisis, so he has some acumen to him. He has some like, people would sound, you're wrong, man, you out of your mind, you crazy. Like he predicted this. He saw the trends, and I'm like, okay, a guy like that I'm gonna listen to. And so I'm listening. I'm like, he sounds like what he's saying makes a lot of sense. He's okay. They're having a back and forth conversation. It's making sense, and it makes me think, well, what's happening now in the world 9 months into the coronavirus, the pandemic, and now about 6 months into a lot of the economical ramifications? Like, guys, where are we going to be in a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? That's very concerning, and he is very concerned, and that makes me concerned. But let's put that concern into action, into proactive action. So that's what I'm doing. I'm dotting my T's and I'm crossing my I's. I'm preparing, right? Have food supplies, have electronic supplies, have solar panel supplies, have water filtration. Fuck, if you can have a bunker, if you have the means to, why not? Have a bunker. I know it's very popular in America and Europe, I believe. It's not really here, because we don't really have natural disasters that stimulate the need to have a actual bunker. But, cross your T's, dot your I's, prepare for uncertainty, because uncertainty is guaranteed. And we're seeing that now. And solar flares, meteors, meteorites, asteroids. I don't know the difference, but so many ways this system, we take it for granted. I can live stream right now. Man, the electricity might go out tomorrow, man. I might not be able to do this next week, right? We take it for granted. And so I think that's another thing. It's like prepare for uncertainty is a big thing, I would say. Yeah, I'll keep going. I just need two topics to go off, and then I'm off, right? It's just make a couple comments and boom, we're off. So you guys can ask questions, make comments, and then we can go. Ken Kaniki, good evening from the US. Quick question, if not too personal, what is your ethnicity? It's been something. No, it's not personal, man. I've talked about that before. I'm born in Melbourne, Australia. Mother is African. She is Northern African. She is from Egypt. Father is Australian born, but they have a Greek background, so from Greece. My grandparents Greece, and then other side is Egyptian. So I am African, European, born in Australia. So it's a pretty cool mix, and I'm pretty fortunate, grateful, and really proud, actually, of just the fortune of my ethnicity that it is. Me and Amy on the last podcast I did, Amy with Amy Milanda, number 24 on Talking Chimps, we talked about ethnicity and that, because especially with all the stuff with, you know, black rights and George Floyd and everything going on, and she also is mixed race ethnicity as well, like half black, half white, and so I put a snippet up clip if you want to see more details on kind of like the thoughts and our experiences on that. It's on the YouTube, Facebook. Fonzo deleted social media. It's a good move, Fonzo. It's a good move. I don't know how you're going to message me then, but you don't even have to delete it. It's like you can use it as you can do whatever you want, but it's like people like to go to extremes. It's like deleting is great. You don't have the fucking candy icons. It's like candy. It's like, oh, they're so colorful. It's like, which one will I click today? It's like the space thing behind me. It's all colorful and pretty. It's like, you want to click it. But yeah, I think unfollowing people and just going to zero is a great way, because then you can still distribute and build a business and a brand, which is very important to me. No problem, Ken. Gerald, is it Gerald or Gerald? Geralt. Is it like Geralt? Geralt of Riviera, from The Witcher. I'm reading those books and they're great. What are the incentives that mandate you to stir away from drifting and conforming to what the majority of individuals are living by their lifestyles? Good question. Very good question. What are the incentives? And I just saw your next question. I'll do the next question later. What are your incentives and mandates for you to stir away from drifting and conforming to what the majority of individuals... My incentives is it'll be a better life for me, because think about the majority of people. Think about the average person, right? The average person is sick, unhealthy, has very poor habits, is financially living paycheck to paycheck, doesn't wake up energetic or excited, or doesn't really have meaning and fulfillment in their life. So that has me pushing away from the average person. So to give you perspective, because I have to learn this because it's part of my studies, if I recall correctly, the average adult Australians, 18 years plus, male, female, we're looking at around 53% that are overweight or obese. Oh, wait, is it 53 or 63? It's in a range. It's that 50 to 60% range are overweight to obese, male and female, adults. That's a huge number. And that's just health. So my incentives to stir away from conforming to what the majority of people are doing is I want to live a great life. I want to be excellent, right? Most people aren't excellent. And that's okay, because not everybody's supposed to be, right? I kind of believe that. Everybody has they can't be, right? No, I don't believe everybody is going to be fortunate enough. Some people live and die and within 10 years. Some people they're drug addicted their whole life. They never get out. They never fix themselves. They just can't. Too much trauma happened to them. Shit happened. Some people can't escape or find an out. And that sucks. And I try and I want to be a light for those people if I can, and work with people personally, with my clients who have gone through things like that, to help improve their health and wellness and habits. So, a quote: "When you fall on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect." Who said that? That when you fall on the side of the majority. It was a writer, Mark Twain. That's right. Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect. And I think that we should do that now. And that's something I try and reflect on. So my standards is my incentive. In relation, what's up, man? What's up, Mandigo? In relation, what is your perspective behind sexual transmutation and stirring away from over-sexualization within social media, music, and media? I don't know what sexual transmutation actually means. Like, transmutation is like a describing a transformation. Let me just look up, see specifically. Is redirecting your mind thoughts from physical expression to thoughts to another creative effort. Doing this has potential to transform mediocrity into genius, and that's what sexual energy or desire has to do with getting rich and manifesting your dreams. Okay, interesting. I think I do that kind of naturally. You know, when you're young, you're just this young, like, hormone-driven, more obsessed kid who is just fucking ready to, just very sexually, like when you're young, it's like sex is, and sexuality is at the forefront of the mind. I think that it's a tool. I think sexuality and sex and all of this, we need to learn how to use these tools for us instead of against us. And I think a lot of the kids and children, I'm talking like I'm a fucking old guy. Like, I don't think young kids are taught how to use the tool of porn and sex and to their advantage. Like, it's like a knife. It's like, I can use this to harm me and be addicted, or I can use it to help me. You know? And I think with these different things, we just need to learn how to use them for us instead of against us. I just got your message, Fonzo. Thanks, man. Yeah, so I think we definitely live in an over-sexualized world, and I think it definitely has massive repercussions on the mental health and the development of children, which then informs the next generation of adults. And I'm fortunate where I kind of missed some of that, but I got some of it. So I'm in the middle, where now it's like you can find anything. The first piece of sexual engagement you can have as a kid can be anything. Like, it can be like intense pornographic material, like from all different types of categories, or it can be a billboard that's showing different men and women in minimal clothes. And that's a spectrum, right? It's not saying they're both the same, but I think that's our role to educate and teach how to get people to use these things for them instead of against them. And so our job as individuals is like, let's relearn how to restructure our mind and interface with these things, because it's not the fault of social media or music or the media. I think we always blame. No, we are responsible for learning how to interact with these things. And yeah, there is some responsibility of these organizations that create them. I agree. But who's going to hold them accountable? Let's be realistic, right? We don't have governing bodies for everything. So let's put the onus on us. We can control our behavior. So let me control me, you know? So if you don't have a positive habit, you need to address that. If you're addicted to porn, you need to address that, you know? The internet's going to be there. You need to remove the cues and understand the cravings that are stimulating that behavior. And so, yeah. How often do we live streams? I do them rarely, because I don't usually do them unless I can't do my in-person podcasts. So I've only done live streams typically when the pandemic's happened and we've been restricted, and because we can't go outside. I can't do the podcast in person right now. I can only do it via like online means, Zoom, which I'm trying to organize with different people, and via these means. So I'm gonna do these every time I can't get a guest or a friend to talk on Zoom at least once a week. I will do this every Sunday. Sunday, Australian Eastern Standard Time, Sunday morning, my time, right? So that's whatever it is for you guys. I think it's the night for Americans. So stay tuned for that. You guys know what to do if you guys want to stay tuned to like my videos. You guys know what buttons to hit. I don't need to tell you, right? Fonzo, social media was messing with my mental health, so I deleted a bunch of my medias. I decided to start over. Yeah, man, it does play on people's mental health hugely. I completely get that. Jealousy, envy, negative emotion, the things you see. And the first thing you do, you start your day, is you look at your phone. Fuck, man. You're starting off reactivity. You're starting off emotion. Like, you don't want to start your day like that. I start my day with gratitude and with breathing and movement and getting outside. Like, how much better could you feel, or do I feel, because I do that, like, dramatically, than if I just pulled out my phone and started looking at the news? Because it's tempting, right? Just fix the focus. It's tempting, I understand. Like, it's definitely tempting to look at that stuff, because it's, like, engaging and it's interesting. And, like, I still haven't seen what the hell happened in the Beirut explosions, and I'm going to look at that right now, actually. What are you specifically active on? I'm active on everything. YouTube, Instagram, email. I'm building an email list. I have an email list. I do that intermittently. Website, medium.com. Like, it's all on my website. Facebook. Like, you want to diversify. The same thing with, like, your finances. You want to diversify, like, your streams of content distribution, because anyone can get taken away. And if YouTube gets taken away, it's not the end of the world for me. It's pretty shit, because it's where the majority of my audience is. But I'll live. I'll be fine. It's not bad. You know, it is what it is. I'll do what I can to adapt. But if you want to engage with myself there and see what I'm up to there, then, you know, Instagram is a place that I take great advantage of, and I enjoy sharing different content too, as it has much better engagement. More people generally see it there. But even then, as I can see, its engagements decreases quite a bit too, and that can make you think, oh, what am I doing? Is it the content I'm doing not that interesting for people? But it's like, you know what, it doesn't matter. Like, maybe, but they'll just unfollow you, and then that's fine. And so it's playing on things like that and learning how to have those conversations with yourself. Like, I'm a human being. I'm going to have those conversations with myself. Like, am I inadequate in some way where people don't enjoy the things that I'm talking about? It's like, it doesn't matter. It's okay if I am for them. Like, maybe I am. But it's like, am I adequate for myself? Like, that's up to me to decide. And so I'm going to keep distributing the conversations and topics that I want to talk about. And the people who want to do it, they'll engage. And the people who aren't interested, they won't. But that's a good thing, because you don't want people who aren't interested in you following you and observing you, right? You want people who are like into you. It's like, so that thought process kind of frees me up. You start your day with chatting with friends. Well, like, look, I think it's better than social media. That's how we started generally, you know, hundreds of years ago, didn't we? Like, we'd wake up, we'd start our day, we'd start talking to people. Like, cool. Like, I like that. You know, if those people are positive, though, if those people are engaging and positive. Now, let me see what the hell happened here in these Beirut explosions.
Large parts of Beirut are in ruins tonight, and the people of Lebanon are attempting to assess the catastrophic damage and the rising human toll injured. The scale including one Australian. So far, we know at least 100 people have been killed, including one Australian, with around 4,000 others injured. The scale of the explosion is just astonishing. Buildings were destroyed far from the port where the blast was centred, and the damage is up to 10 kilometres away, meaning the whole city was affected. The blast was even heard by people in Cyprus, 200 kilometres off the coast. Jesus. It's devastating for a country already in the grips of an economic crisis. Middle East correspondent Eric Twarchek reports, and a warning, some viewers may find this story distressing.
What the fuck?
Some viewers may find this story distressing.
Whoa, that is such a big explosion.
The blast at the Lebanese capital's port struck with the force of an earthquake.
God. Whoa! Oh, that must have got knocked down.
What? People filming a warehouse fire were suddenly knocked off their feet by a massive explosion.
Look at that. That is crazy.
Oh my God!
Look at all these angles. Man, shout out for the videos,
Flashes were
man.
seen in the fire, then something much bigger ignited, sending up a mushroom cloud and pushing a blast wave across the city.
You can see the sparks. In fact, there were sparks. Shit. Oh my God, God ain't gonna help you then.
This priest was in the middle of a service.
He's still going. Oh shit. I'm sorry.
In the middle of a service.
That's fucking funny. Holy shit.
priest was in the...
Because look at how it's I know what that is. Like I think he's blessing. Like I've been in churches and I've been to church before, and you'll it's like an incense, and all right, we have to bless it.
This priest
but
was
the
in...
room is shaking when he's still doing it. Like you can hear it. He's still...
This
the light
priest
goes
was
out.
in
He's
the
like,
middle of a service.
Keep shaking the incense. And then he's like, oh shit. I'm out. Holy shit.
Windows kilometres away from the site were blown out. Balconies collapsed.
What happened?
And on the streets, there was chaos.
You would have car crashes because you would just...
Several thousand people have been injured. A catastrophe for a country already in crisis. They streamed onto the streets, bleeding from glass cuts and worse.
I don't know what happened. I was fishing and I heard there was a fire. I started to head home. I heard something explode and then this happened.
Downtown Beirut looked like a war zone.
Which it has been
But
before.
the damage was spread across the city.
My car was down there. It rolled over. The glass cut me.
Confiscated chemicals were stored. The blast was caused by a fire at a warehouse where confiscated chemicals were stored. The Interior Minister said it was ammonium nitrate, used for fertiliser or explosives.
Whoa.
Thousands of tonnes had been there since 2014.
Thousands of tons of ammonium nitrate.
The damage to the port is huge. The governor at the scene said he was looking for a team of firefighters who disappeared in the explosion.
This scene reminds us of what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I haven't seen massive destruction in my life on this scale. This is a disaster. This
economic meltdown. Its currency's crashed and its people are struggling for their livelihoods amidst a pandemic.
That is so
For many
tough.
Lebanese, the country already seemed on the brink of collapse.
You see?
Now, its capital has been devastated.
Catastrophe can strike.
And
at
Eric
any
Dworchak
moment.
joins us now. Eric, we've just seen the incredible devastation caused by the
explosive material for 6 years, left it sit all in one place. Tragically, in port, it's completely destroyed. It's going to be very, very difficult to get it operational again in a short time. And the country's main grain elevator is the building next to the site of the blast, and that's been destroyed as well. So there's concerns that in a month or so, Lebanon's going to run out of wheat. It's going to be difficult to import more wheat at a time when it was already struggling because of a currency crisis
problem.
to get food into the country.
Wheat is a staple.
The number of businesses and homes that have been destroyed by this blast as well.
Things could
it's
always
going to be
be
really,
worse.
really
It could
difficult for
always be
Lebanese at a time
worse.
when they simply
You could be
didn't have
living
any
in
cash
fucking
to
Beirut.
function, you know. And this is the fear is that Lebanon was teetering on the edge of serious instability before, and now with this level of devastation, no one knows what's going to happen.
All right, Eric, thank you. Eric Dworchak. There are close connections between Lebanon and Australia, and one Australian has been killed in the explosion. The Prime Minister says about 20,000 Australians are normally in Lebanon at any time. The embassy in Beirut has been damaged, but all staff are safe.
My wife's business is destroyed.
Is rallying to support those impacted back home.
Damn. Wow. I want to see.
Taking in the extent of the destruction.
LiveLeak is actually a good website for that. I don't know if you guys heard of LiveLeak, but it kind of has raw, unfiltered, uncensored videos of certain tragedies in the news. So I just want to see. Wait, so you're telling me these people are... Oh my god! That wasn't in the news! Oh my goodness gracious! You're kidding, look at the music. This has got to be a joke, right? Lebanese couple's photo shoot interrupted by Beirut blast. Why is there a piano? Lebanese weddings, oh man, it's a good advertisement, right? Ah, very nice photo. Braska. I love you, baby. I love you too. Damn, she's like, she can sense it. What is that? Oh my. Very nice. Yep. Wow. The church one got me too. That was humorous, okay? Forgive me. I thought that was a humorous image, but I hope he's okay. What the? Where is that? Taken from a security cam. This looks like a prison. Oh my God, she got knocked. What I'm watching is, this looks like an apartment building. A lady exits her room, the explosion happens, and she gets flung into the barricade, or there's this metal bar that's like, it's like you're on an upper level and there's like a metal bar that you'll put your hand across to like stop you from going down the next floors down. And she gets flung back, hitting it onto the railing, doesn't fall back, she falls forward. Jesus. Wow. See? You have to take into consideration that, oh, another wedding.
Today we're seeing more heart-stopping video.
How many people can get married in
Beirut,
Beirut?
including this wedding day horror as a blast goes off right in the middle of a ceremony.
Who made that graphic?
First, there was the bride of Beirut. Now there is another Beirut bride who will never forget her wedding day. It started as a day filled with joy. The parents of the bride-to-be walking down the aisle. Suddenly,
He's
a
laughing.
loud noise.
He doesn't know what he's...
Then, all hell breaks loose.
What is with this dramatic all hell break loose? This is so yuck. You can see the differences in like reporting of these news channels. Oh my God. That's terrible.
Growing over the fact that government officials knew that nearly 3,000 tons of ammonium nitrate had been stored at the port for 6 years.
So that makes me think, if there's 3,000 tons of ammonium nitrate stored in like a building in Beirut, what is every city's version of that catastrophe waiting to happen? What is your city's version of that? Is there like some other substances being stored somewhere in some building in your city? Is there a demolition that's going to happen where people don't know there's actually some old explosives underneath it? What's Jesus? What else is there? That's that version. Well, now I know what happened in Beirut. Ammonium motherfucking nitrate happened. Damn. How many people were killed? It's probably quite a few. Damn, that's a shame. That's a shame. Alright, guys. Unless you guys got any last comments or questions, now I know what's happening in Beirut. Actually, we're going to end it. I'll show you guys what we'll end it with. We'll end it with like we do every time, a coronavirus update. I want to see where it's at. I don't really check this anymore. In fact, I rarely check it. Earlier on in the pandemic, I checked it like every day. Now it's just, it is what it is. I don't check it anymore unless I'm doing these streams. So we have 19 million, nearly 20 million global cases right now. And that's also people who have recovered. That's just recorded cases. We have 724,000 deaths. And I want to be on record. Me and Alexander Mann on our podcast were very wrong. We predicted by the end of the year that I said like 200,000-300,000 deaths. And we talked about like, what did we say? Like couple of million cases? Maybe 5 million? We did not say these numbers. We did not say anywhere these numbers. And so to give you a perspective, give me a sec. I'm going to pull up what we're dealing with in Melbourne, in Australia. What's governed, what created, okay? Because, well, who's really copying it is Brazil. Like, I think kind of Brazil have had that coming, especially with their prime minister saying everything he did about the coronavirus and not taking it seriously. But if we look at Australia, 69th in the world for cases, 21,000 cases. It's less about the numbers for our country, more about the city. Let me make that smaller. More about the city of Melbourne, which has actually taken the brunt of it, which actually hasn't come up yet. So let me look. Because you got to think, well, what's happening in Melbourne? Because you guys might hear about it, so just give you some context, like what's actually happening to warrant the current situation on some of the toughest restrictions in the world. Well, let me show you. Victoria have 14,000 confirmed cases, nearly 200 deaths, and we're having an ordinance of 400 to 700 new cases a day. And to show you the interactive map, which the Australian government has done, I think, a pretty good job at creating. Then you guys can see this sharp increase. 14,000 cases, nearly 200 deaths, 6,000 recovered. So what is that? It's like 8,000 active cases. So we're having troubles with elderly homes, same as America. And it makes you think, it's like America, like so many states in America would like kill for something like this. They would be so thankful to have this, right? To be in this position. But we, alright, I can't, it just, okay. Alright, screw that interactive map. We have a very conservative government and system, political system, that doesn't, I'm going to show you guys one last thing before I get up out of here, unless you guys got questions. But what's actually interesting to see is that the negative rate, we've had about 1.7 million tests, about 1.6 million tests. The negative rate is 99.34%. The confirmed positive rate is 0.65%. And we're looking at about a 1% case fatality ratio. So fortunately, like 99% of people who are testing negative, which is great. Guys, I don't think anybody realizes how much testing this really is. But our population of Victoria, like I think we've tested nearly half the population from just a sheer number perspective, which is unheard of, right? We're like leading the world in testing. So of course we're going to see more. Okay. Oh, really? Oh, we have 6.3 million people since 2017. So we've tested a really good proportion. It's definitely not half, but we've tested a really good proportion of the population. So this was taken 4 days ago, this statistic on the 4th of August around, to give some context. So when people say like, oh, there's this many new cases, we have to look at the specific qualitative the qualitative nature. So basically not just the sheer numbers, but the quality of the numbers and the categories of those numbers, to give us some idea of what the numbers mean. Because numbers can be scary when you just look at them blankly, but we need to look at the details of the numbers. We need to look at the positive rate, the negative rate, the false positives, for example, the case fatality ratio, how many are elderly. We're noticing more people who are younger populations are getting confirmed, testing positive, probably because they're being more lax and because a number of other reasons. But we're noticing problems in elderly homes now, aged care homes, I should say. So, the problem is you gotta look at the details, make decisions based on the specific details instead of just the fear-mongering news headlines. And I think most people listening to this probably already do that, but I think it's just we have to tell people that we know who aren't doing that. 31st. This was from the 31st of July. Excuse me, not 4 days ago. So yeah, that's what we're working with. And Gerald, yes, I do go on morning jogs and walks. I've been definitely trying to up my walking recently since getting my new coach, as we're recording my steps. And once you record and measure something, you quickly realize how well you're doing at it. And what I realized is that, I can do a lot of my business and work from a computer. But I train every day, but sometimes when I'm not walking enough and I'm not getting enough steps and activity in, so I'll do my different conditioning, cardiovascular training on the days where I'm not weight training, and then I'll splice in different walks along those days when I need to. Post meal, for example, is a great time to do walk to decrease postprandial blood glucose levels and improve insulin sensitivity and just general digestion post meal. So a big fan of walking and starting my day going outside. getting ultraviolet light exposure, anchoring your circadian and sleep cycle rhythm, and feeling good, getting some sun exposure, especially in the warm months. Hugely beneficial to mood, hormones, and your sleep cycle. So yes, I'm a big fan of it, and I do it consistently, and it just helps keep my chimp mind a bit less chimpish. Now, for now, guys, we've gone about 90 minutes. I'll see. Regarding my dreads, have you ever did a drop fade or do a mid fade with your dreads? I think I know what you mean. You mean instead of doing like a I can't remember what this is called. I have done it before. Yeah, I have. My barber Shah, he hooks me up. He's a great man. I'll get him on the podcast one day and we'll talk. If he's listening to this, you're a good man, Shah. Yeah, I've done it before. He takes care of me there. All right, guys. I'll see y'all later. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Stay focused. Keep learning.